Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric with Spartan AutoWorks. Today we are talking about BCMs, particularly that of the Global A, and they may use this on Global B, the new platform that's out now, but these are kind of associated with Global A architecture. So let's talk about Global A. So Global A is an architecture that basically limits you from reusing a used module. Talk about going green and recycling, right? So basically you cannot move a used module from one car to the other unless you basically copy the contents or return it back to Virgin. Now most of your shops don't have the technology nor the tools in order to take one of these Global A BCMs and either virginize it so it can be reprogrammed like it's new out of a donor vehicle or clone it. So some of these BCMs we can virginize, some of them we can't, but we can clone the three different particular types of BCMs of this particular style. So you're going to have a couple different identifiers on these BCMs. All the cases are going to look identical, but you know, the sticker wise you're not going to see much. So there's three different types. There's a Delphi, there's a Bosch, and there's a Continental. Obviously this one's marked with Bosch. This one here, hopefully you can see it. And I had a whole bunch of other Mercedes videos for all you guys have been asking, but my lighting wasn't that good, and when I wanted to go upload them, they were so bad I just decided to we're gonna have to start over. So hopefully I got some lighting today. Hopefully this all works out so you can see this. So on here, let me pick it up. Whoops. On here you can see right there it says Bosch right by my thumb. Hopefully that's in focus. And then this particular BCM here does not have any particular writing on it that signifies who the manufacturer was. Back of the case, a little bit different. Haven't seen one that was taped on the back. Looks like it came from the factory like that. I don't think it's ever been opened. I don't think it's ever been resold from like salvage yard. A lot of salvagers put like, you know, do not open, do not tamper. But yeah, it looks like that's the way it came, but there's no markings. Now for me to go in and try to figure out what this is, there's a couple different processors and a couple different EEPROMs. So there's a couple parts that you have to copy. There's a flash that you're going to copy, and then there's an EEPROM that you're going to copy. So on this particular unit, the EEPROM is right here, and I've already forgotten what it was. So let me take a look at it here. So it looks like it is, let me flip it over. It looks like it is a 95320. So if it's a 95320 EEPROM, I automatically know that's a Continental BCM. So like I said, Delphi, Bosch, and Continental. I think Continental and Bosch are probably going to be your two most common that you see. But anyway, as I digress from that, so these fit basically everything Global A. We've talked about what's compatible in many videos before, and I still get lots of questions about what interchange is exactly. So we use a Hollander based interchange for used parts because we like to be green when possible. Some parts just need to buy new, but when possible we like to use used parts to, you know, keep the circuit boards from going to the junkyard basically and going back into the landfill. Now let's take this one here for example, which is part number 13577268, and I pulled it up, and it's all crinkly now, but I pulled it up on the Hollander Interchange or car-part.com, and I printed out what it fits. It fits the Allure, the LaCrosse, and the Camaro 10 only. So it's a 10 only BCM. So let's say you had an 11 Camaro, you can't send me this BCM and expect it to work with your 11, or let me clone your 11 to this 10. So when sourcing a BCM for cloning, it is important that we match the interchange, make sure the interchange is correct. So if you go to car-part.com, and we send a lot of our customers there looking for parts if we don't have them in stock. If you go to car-part.com and you put in your year, make, model, and let's say you look up chassis brain box, what's going to come up is all the electronic modules that are available. So if you break it down by your year, it's only going to show you what will actually fit your vehicle. So you can't just go out. I just had a customer the other day that sent in a body control module for a whole different generation, older generation, and we had provided information on car dash part and how to check it with interchange, and he just went to the salvage yard, pulled one out of the same year basically, but didn't fit his interchange for his. So when we got it, I couldn't program it correctly for his vehicle. So make sure if you're going to send us something that it's matched correctly either by part number or interchange, and if you need to make sure the part you have is correct before you send it to us, reach out to us, send us an email with your VIN number, your original part number, and the new part number, and we'll verify that everything's correct. Also, a lot of people get stuck up and say, hey, I can't find one with my same part number. Part number doesn't necessarily always matter. Now, in some of the parts that we program, there is part numbers that are better than other part numbers, but Global A doesn't have a huge, in my opinion, maybe because it's still newer, we don't see a huge failure rate, at least not at this point. Maybe in another couple of years we will, but I cannot, for any of these BCMs, tell you that there's certain part numbers that are better than others based off interchange. So far, I'd say they all work about the same. So don't get hung up and say, okay, interchange says, my 11 Camaro fits with a 12 Camaro and it's these part numbers. And on the interchange too, for what we look at, it actually has the identifying part numbers that will interchange right here. So, we can always look up and see what the list shows, but don't get hung up if you can't find your exact same part number. It's easier if you go part number because then it matches, but it's not necessary. So if you're in need of one of these BCMs for this particular style for a Global A vehicle, we can clone the flash and the EEPROM from your used one to your new one, so that way when you put it in, it's plug and play. There's no additional setup, there's no other programming required. It's plug and play. It's going to be 100% identical copy of your original to the replacement. Now, there is a couple drawbacks in essence. If you get one that has no communication, we will not be able to reprogram it and clone it to another one. We have to have communication with it in order to reprogram it from one to the other. So if you have zero communication, chances are of us being able to recover any data is going to be pretty slim. So that is one thing to be forewarned about. Got to have communication, so it can't be completely dead. The other thing is, when it comes to Global A, you cannot take a used one of these and just plug it in your car and expect it to work. There is no 30-minute key relearn. There is no magical dance you can do. Doesn't matter how much you pray. This isn't going to just automatically sync up and work with your car. Now, I will say, and I have only seen this once, there is plenty of documentation. I've read plenty of people that are in the programming business that have had issues where a customer used a used BCM or a used airbag component or a used ECM or something to that effect, and it actually has caused more problems to the vehicle where basically it makes other modules sick and you have to replace multiple Global A modules in order to get the car happy. I have only seen that happen once, and it only happened to one component in the vehicle, and nobody else was able to repair it. I had to go to EEPROM level basically to repair it, which is not something I really wanted to do, but wasn't exactly fun, but wasn't exactly unrepairable, but wasn't as bad a case as I've read some people having on the internet. So you definitely don't want to hot swap these or try to put one in and try to reprogram a used one in your vehicle, because it can cause way more problems. So if you are in need of a Global A BCM like we have here for the three types we talked about, so the Delphi, the Bosch, and the Continental, we can, like I said, clone one to another donor as long as the interchange is correct. Like I said, if you need help sourcing one, let us know. We can help you with car-part.com, get one from your local recycler, keep these things out of the junkyard and going into the landfill, because in essence these things are not reusable. And at this point, we're not virginizing these. I have a list of part numbers that I can virginize. and I'm sure that will be growing, but as the moment we're just doing cloning. So if you have one that is going bad and you need it cloned to a replacement, give us a call. We do supply new ones of these as well if you need a new one, but we do prefer used because used is the green way to go. So if you have any questions, comment below. I'll put some links in the video to more information on this. But as always, let us know what you think, and if you need your service, give us a call. 314-433-5274 or 636-795-6960, or you can always drop us an email at spartanautoworks@gmail.com. Until next time, have a good one.